So, you probably think you know the story of Jacob, Rachel's, and Leah, right? It's that classic love triangle, a whole lot of jealousy, and family drama. But what if I told you there's way more to it? That it's less of a soap opera and more of a legal thriller, a complex puzzle of ancient contracts and cosmic justice that literally changed the course of history. Yeah, let's get into it. Okay, just picture this for a second. You have worked for 7 years for the love of your life. You have your wedding, you spend the night with your new bride, and then you wake up. The morning light hits, and you realize that's not her. The woman lying next to you is not the one you just spent 7 years of your life working for. I mean, can you even imagine? This is the jaw-dropping moment, the ultimate bait and switch that kicks off this whole wild story. It's just a shocking moment of betrayal. But the real story here, the thing we're going to dig into, isn't just what happened, it's how it happened and why it matters so much. How did this one act of deception, this totally unwanted marriage, set off a chain reaction that would go on to define a nation, and in the end, the entire world? That's the mystery we're going to unravel. All right, so to really get how this deception even worked, we have to go back and look at the deal itself. And this wasn't some casual handshake agreement between a guy in love and his uncle. Oh, no. This was a story rooted in love, for sure, but it was governed by the really rigid laws of the ancient world. To get this story, you have to understand the idea of a bride price, or mohar. Now, it's not about buying a wife. That's a common misunderstanding. It's way more like a serious, legally binding contract. By putting up goods, or in this case, a whole lot of labor, the groom was proving his commitment and making the marriage official in everyone's eyes. Jacob didn't have any money, but he did have his strength and his time. So Jacob makes his offer. 7 full years of hard labor, working as a shepherd for his uncle Laban. 7 years of his life, all for the right to marry Rachel. Now the text says the years seemed like only a few days to him because of his love for her, which is incredibly romantic. But let's be real, legally speaking, this was a massive, massive commitment. And let's put this payment into perspective, okay? A typical bride price back then was maybe 30 or 40 shekels. Jacob's 7 years of service, that was worth about 70 shekels. 70! He was paying nearly double the going rate. And that tells you 2 things right away. 1, the incredible depth of Jacob's love for Rachel, and 2, that his uncle Laban was a pretty shrewd businessman who knew he was getting an absolutely fantastic deal. So the 7 years are finally up. The contract should be fulfilled. But then comes that wedding night and the shocking reveal in the morning. And this is where we see one of the great ironies in the whole story. You see, Jacob, a man who got his own birthright through deception, is about to find himself completely and totally scammed. The parallels are they're undeniable. Remember, years earlier, Jacob tricked his own blind father Isaac by disguising himself with hairy skins to feel like his brother Esau. He used a physical disguise to exploit his father's blindness. Well, now, Laban uses the darkness of the wedding tent and the bride's thick veil to exploit Jacob's own kind of blindness. The deceiver gets deceived. What goes around really does come around. So Jacob is furious, as you could imagine, but Laban is totally unfazed. He just offers a new deal. Hey, work another 7 years and you can marry Rachel too. In fact, you can marry her in a week. And Jacob, he agrees. And just like that, boom, he's married to 2 sisters, which sets the stage for a home just filled with rivalry, jealousy, and a whole lot of heartbreak. And the contrast between these 2 sisters could not be more intense. You have Leah, the older one, the unloved wife, who is immediately able to have children. And then you have Rachel, the beautiful younger sister, the one Jacob truly loves, and she's barren. It's this perfect, tragic irony. Each woman has the one thing the other desperately wants. And this brings us right to the central puzzle of the whole story. We're told that God opens Leah's womb because she was unloved. But is that the whole story? Why would Rachel, the one Jacob actually worked for, the chosen wife, be forced to wait for so many years? Well, the answer isn't just a matter of divine intervention. It's actually hidden in the fine print of ancient law. Okay, here it is. This is the aha moment that unlocks everything. Archaeologists have found ancient Mesopotamian marriage contracts from this time, and they reveal a fascinating rule. A marriage could happen before the bride price was totally paid off, but, and this is the absolute key, the final payment had to be made before the birth of the first legitimate child. So think about it. Jacob's first 7 years of work, that paid his debt for Leah. Her contract was fulfilled. But for Rachel, His second 7-year contract had only just started. Legally speaking, she couldn't produce an heir until that new debt was paid in full. So, the legal mystery is solved, but solving it opens up a much deeper, much more personal story. With her legal status secure but her husband's heart totally out of reach, Leah begins this profound personal journey. And it's a journey we can actually trace through the names she gives to her sons. It's really incredible to watch this unfold. With her first son, Reuben, which means see, a son, her hope is all in Jacob. She's thinking, okay, surely now my husband will love me. With Simeon and Levi, you can still feel that desperation, that ache for his affection. But by the time her fourth son is born, something is different. Something has fundamentally shifted. She names him Judah, which means praise, and her reason is simple. This time I will praise the Lord. She's done looking to her husband for her worth. She has turned her focus completely to God. And this personal shift, from seeking validation to offering praise, it's not just some quiet, personal moment. It turns out to be the very pivot point on which history turns. This unloved, unchosen wife is about to give the world a legacy that is so much greater than she ever could have imagined. And here is the incredible result. Judah, the son who was born not from a desperate plea for a husband's love, but from a heart that was overflowing with praise. He becomes the ancestor of the entire royal line of Israel. King David, he comes from the tribe of Judah. The Messiah, promised from the line of Judah. The entire legacy of the unloved wife became the hope of the world. Leah's story is such a powerful reminder for all of us. It teaches us to find our worth not in what other people think of us, but in something so much bigger. It shows us that even the messiest, most painful, most unfair circumstances can be used for an incredible purpose. Her journey from rejection to contentment is just a masterclass in resilience and faith. And that kind of leaves us with a final thought to chew on. Leah was the unchosen one, trapped in a rigged marriage she never asked for. And yet, it was through that exact hardship that she found her true purpose and literally changed the world. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What amazing, world-changing purpose might just be hidden in the circumstances in our own lives that we didn't choose?